Alright, speech number 2, informative speech, audience member number 1, audience member number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are my note cards.
Can you give us those then, please? Okay. What, note cards? Oh, or maybe 3 for this one.
Imagine waking up in the morning and your right leg is completely numb. Imagine walking through the frozen food section of a grocery store where 95% of your body is cold. However, it feels like someone's taking a lighter to your right arm. Imagine one week having 20/20 vision. However, the next week you can no longer see in color and your vision is now 20/85. What I am describing to you may seem impossible, but these are just a few of the symptoms that someone living with MS can deal with on any given day. My name is Velcheck. I was diagnosed with MS 4 years ago. In this speech, we will look at the different symptoms of MS as well as a brief overview of the 4 different courses the disease can take. MS symptoms appear between the ages of 20 and 40. Some of the common early symptoms include tingling, numbness, blurred vision, and loss of balance. Some of the less common early symptoms include slurred speech, lack of coordination, and cognitive difficulties. As the disease progresses, some symptoms could be muscle spasms, fatigue, and changes in thinking and cognition. The course of MS varies from person to person. The first course is relapsing remitting MS. This stage is characterized by unpredictable acute attacks. These attacks can last from several days to several weeks. But however, recovery can take from several weeks to several months. The second course is primary progressive MS. This stage is characterized by no relapses and no remissions. This stage appears in 15% of all patients with MS. There may be periods of stability, but the symptoms don't go away. The third course is secondary progressive MS. This course begins at the end of relapsing remitting MS. 50% of people with relapsing remitting MS will develop secondary progressive MS within 10 years. 90% of people with relapsing remitting MS will develop secondary progressive MS within 25 to 30 years after initially the first symptoms occur. The last course MS can take is also the least common course. During this stage, there can be significant relapses. However, the next symptoms will be much worse than the original symptoms. This course affects only 5% of people affected with MS. MS affects over 400,000 Americans and 2.5 million people, men, women, and children worldwide. Living with MS can be difficult at times. There are many support groups and networks that are available to share different ways of maintaining the disease. There is also a handful of disease-modifying drugs, as well as different types of therapies. While living with MS may be difficult at times, it is not a death sentence. Go back up to the end. With a combination of exercise, diet, and medical therapy, you can live a long and active lifestyle.
What was that swab?